Alright, welcome to Yap MMA, everybody. Today we're going to be breaking down UFC Fight Night, Edmonton, Moreno versus Albazi. It's a pretty fun card. We're going to break down every single fight. I'm going to give you my pick, my prediction, and hopefully we got a good fight card this upcoming Saturday. So we're starting off the fight card with a women's fight, Jamie Lynn Horth versus Ivana Petrovic. Pretty fun fight, to be honest. I was really surprised when I saw the odds for this one, though. We got Jamie Lynn Horth coming in 6-1, Ivana Petrovic 7-1. I believe Jamie Lynn Horth is coming off of a split loss, and Ivana Petrovic is coming off of a third round sub. So sub for Ivana, loss for Lynn Horth, but Lynn Horth she's a pretty big woman, to be honest. For her weight class, and she's coming in as the favorite, a pretty big favorite in my opinion, for what she is as a fighter, but she is big. She's got a lot of power. She's got great striking. She can keep the distance, poke her at her jab. And Ivana Petrovic got a lot better submission game. She's going to be trying to get her to the ground and work her Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So it really comes down to if Ivana can get the takedowns. In my opinion, I don't think she's going to be able to do that. Jamie Lynn Horth, big woman. She's got a lot of power. I think she's going to be able to keep the distance, poke away with her jabs, and secure the decision. Moving on to the next fight of the card, Chad Anheliger versus Cody Gibson. This is it's a perfect matchup for the UFC to cut one guy. So I would have to think that the loser of this one gets cut. Chad's coming off of a win. Cody's coming off of a win. They're both on pretty big skids. Cody hadn't fought in like 10 years or something, or hadn't gotten a win in 10 years, excuse me. And he got a nice submission. So we're going to see how this one goes, but I think Cody, he's got the height, he's got the range, and he's more experienced, to be honest. Even though he was coming off of a couple losses before, he just picked up his win, but he looked good in that win. He's pretty dominant, and I think he's just more technical. He's got great striking, he's got better ground game, and he's got a longer reach and longer height. The only thing that Chad had going for him really was the striking, but if Cody can keep him at range and mix in a takedown or two, I think it's going to be a decision for Cody. So my pick for this one is going to be Cody Gibson by decision. Decision or potentially submission if you can get him to the ground. But the pick's going to be Cody Gibson for sure. Moving on to the next fight, we got Serhai Saidi versus Garrett Armfield. Serhai Saidi coming off of a split loss, which could have honestly gone his way. He showed a lot of heart, and he put the pace in the later round. He's got great cardio. Garrett Armfield, I believe, coming off of a win. Let me just double check that. I believe he's coming off of a win. Garrett Armfield, he's coming off of a submission loss. Sorry, he's coming off of a loss to Brady Highstand. And he was overpowered on the ground. He was submitted. But Garrett Armfield, honestly, he last time he was in Canada, I think he beat Brad Katona. And this is another scenario. Serhai Saidi is from is Ukrainian, but he is from Canada, and he's got the height advantage, he's got the reach advantage, but honestly, I don't see too much out of Serhai Saidi. I looked at some of his fights. He's a pretty good striker. He's got great cardio, like I said. He's able to push the pace in the later rounds. But honestly, I think Garrett Armfield is the scrappier guy. He's been in those positions more. He's been in a lot more fights, a lot more experienced. And I think if he can get his hands going, honestly, Serhai Saidi doesn't have much power behind his shots. So the pick's going to be Garrett Armfield, probably by decision. But honestly, if he can push the pace, I think he could find a potential knockout, because Serhai Saidi is a bit chinny. Saidi's a bit chinny. He's only got one fight in the UFC right now, so there's not too much to look at off the bat, but he's got great cardio. But I think Armfield's going to be able to pick him apart. So the pick's going to be Garrett Armfield by decision. I'm going to put my faith in Garrett Armfield. A little bit risky, but we'll see. We'll see how that one plays out. Moving on to the next fight of the card. This one's a joke, man. This one is actually a joke. Rodrigo Nascimento versus Alexander Romanov. Man, I don't even know what to think about Romanov at this stage in his career, man. Like, fat wrestling heavyweight with submission game, but he's a hit or a miss. He's seriously a hit or a miss. Pretty hard to predict one of his fights, honestly, and he's coming off that loss to Jailton Almeida. Rodrigo Nascimento coming off that loss to Derek Lewis by KO, and Romanov's coming off the loss by submission. So both guys are kind of desperate for a win here, and it's funny because with Romanov you really don't know what he's gonna be like till you see him on the scale. He could either be looking like this, he could be looking all big like this, or he could be in shape and ready to come and push the pace in the first round. But man, it's tough to say. It's tough to say. Obviously I'm going to be picking safe here. I can't pick Romanov in 2024. So the pick is going to be Rodrigo Nascimento. You know, I mean, he showed a lot of heart against Derek Lewis. He just doesn't have too much power, and honestly, Romanov doesn't have power either. Both these guys are more they're better at picking their shots. I mean, Romanov doesn't have much striking. He's really only got that little bit of pace in the first round and submission wrestling. And it's just, if he can't get it going in the first round, Rodrigo's going to pick him apart in the later ones. So the pick's going to be Rodrigo Nascimento by either decision or KO. But Nascimento doesn't have too much power, so I would have to say decision. But yeah, if Romanov's really a hit or miss with this one. Moving on to the next fight, Youssef Zalal versus Jack Shore. Yeah, this one's interesting because Youssef Zalal got kicked out the UFC, brought back. I don't know why I can't set that up. Jesus, brought back recently, and he's looking a lot better. He's looking way better than when he got kicked. Obviously, like, I think his first fight ever in the UFC was Ilia Topuria, and I mean we just saw where Ilia Topuria went. Man, he's a dominant force. Just destroyed Max Holloway. So honestly, that's an understandable loss. Youssef Zalal's really just lost to pretty well-rounded guys, and honestly, Jack Shore, I don't know. I don't rate Jack Shore. I really don't rate Jack Shore. He's coming off that loss, that TKO, that doctor stoppage against Joanderson Brito, where I think his leg snapped or something. Just like a nasty injury, nasty broken leg or something, man. So I don't know. We'll see if he fully recovered from that, but I think Youssef Zalal is way better, well-rounded, on the ground, on the feet. His striking's improved massively. He just got the submission win last fight. Easy work for Zalal. And I might be overhyping him, but I do think now that he's back in the UFC, he's got a lot more motivation. He's really trained up what he's bad at, and he's gonna be ready to bring the fight to Jack Shore. So the pick's gonna be Zalal. I think he could get a submission. It's gonna be Zalal submission. Let's move on. Moving on to the next one, Charles Jourdain versus Victor Henry. Honestly, it's rough to say with this one. Both these guys, like, Henry's actually surprisingly good for his age and his build and stuff. And Charles Jourdain, man, like, he just keeps letting us Canadians down. He seriously just keeps letting us down. I mean, obviously losing to Jean Silva isn't that bad, but it was a pretty nasty knockout. Charles Jourdain is coming off that knockout loss to Jean Silva. I believe it was an uppercut. It was a nasty uppercut. And Victor Henry is coming off of a win, I believe, by knockout. I think he's coming off of a knockout win. But yeah, both these guys, pretty well-rounded. Good strikers, good grapplers. Victor Henry's definitely more of a striker, and well, I think we're going to see a good matchup here. I think this might be a potential fight of the night if both men, they're very scrappy. They're going to be throwing hands. I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be a fun one, and, like, I'm going to be honest, I got to be a bit biased in this one. I'm going to be just a little bit biased in this one. I know people think Charles Jourdain is overrated. I do think he's overrated. But in this matchup, Victor Henry, older guy, I don't think he has much power. I don't think he has that knockout power that Jean Silva has against Jourdain. I don't think he's got that knockout power to sleep Jourdain. And I think Jourdain has, he's got good flurries. He's well-rounded. I know Victor Henry has a lot of pace, a lot of speed, but I think Jourdain's going to be able to pick his shots, mix in the wrestling, and I think he's going to be able to take that decision win. Of course, judges are also going to be a bit biased. We saw last weekend with Abu Dhabi, man. Like, That was an absolute robbery from Moreno. Like, I'm not gonna complain. I'm not gonna complain. But like, that was a robbery, man. That was definitely a robbery. And I know Canada's not as bad like that, but judges are always gonna sway a little bit in the side of their guy. So I'm gonna have to go Jordan by decision. Moving on to the next one, we got Ariana De Silva versus Yasmin Yazet Davicius. I don't even know how to say that name. That is a crazy name. But I do know that Yasmin is very good at wrestling. She's a very good wrestler. And I know Ariana De Silva has a bit of wrestling problems. She's got good BJJ, but she's got wrestling problems. And man, it's just the wrestling. It's the wrestling age. Like, I might have to make a whole video about wrestlers, but I think Yasmin's just going to put the pressure on, wrestle her for the whole 15 minutes and take the decision. De Silva, if she can stay on her feet and keep it striking, I think she's got a solid chance. But I'm going to have to pick Yasmin. She's the favorite, and I think it's for understandable reasons. She's got great wrestling, and I got to go with Yasmin, man. She's going to get that decision win. I'm calling it. We'll see. But the pick's going to be Yasmin by decision. Now this one, Ayman Zahabi versus Pedro Munoz. So actually, Ayman Zahabi trains at TriStar Gym, or TriStar Gym. What am I saying? TriStar Gym in Montreal, and I've actually trained at the gym, and it's a great gym, man. His brother is amazing. Zahabi's brother is amazing, and the Zahabi brothers in general are great. And I know Pedro Munoz, man. He's on a decline. It sucks to say. He's a great fighter, but he's coming off of a couple losses, and he's not getting any younger. He's really not getting any younger. And I think Zahabi, he's on a 4-fight win streak. He's got a great training team. TriStar is a great gym. He might not have the best at he might not have the best like God-given gifts, but his IQ is amazing. His IQ is amazing, and his fight game is just it's great. So I think he's gonna be able to use his IQ to piece up Pedro on the feet, keep it standing. I don't think there's gonna be too much grappling, but Zahabi's gonna know what he needs to do to get this win. And I'll be honest, I think it might be a boring decision, but I do think Zahabi's gonna take it, most likely by decision. And I don't know if Pedro is going to retire or anything like that, but he is going to probably be on a 3-fight skid, so it'll be a little bit rough for him to bounce back. But I do hope Pedro wins, but I got to go with the guy Zahabi. So the pick's going to be Ayman Zahabi by decision. Moving on to the main card. We've got Trevin Giles versus Mike Malott. The boy Mike Malott. Mike Proper Malott. Yeah, man. Supposedly supposed to be the next GSP, the next Canadian guy, in welterweight as well. Next Canadian guy. Sucks to say he lost to the gatekeeper Neil Magny. Absolutely sucks. But this is a layup, man. Trevin Giles, like what a layup. I know Mike Malott's taking a step back, obviously, because he lost. So they're gonna give him lower competition, but Trevin Giles isn't even anything near the top 15, and Mike Malott was just there, man. He was just there. So he's got better striking, he's got better wrestling, he's got great submissions, amazing submissions, and he's durable. It sucks that he lost that last fight, but I don't think Trevin Giles has a chance in this fight. Seriously, I don't think he has a chance. It's funny because Mike Malott's coming off the loss to Neil Magny by a knockout, and Trevin Giles is coming off the loss to Carlos Prates by knockout. And now Prates and Magny are fighting next weekend, I think. Is it next weekend? Yeah, next weekend. They're fighting in the main event at UFC Vegas 100, I believe now. Yeah, that's crazy. That's kind of funny, but I just think Mike Malott's better everywhere, man. Like, it's just, this is such a layup for him, and he should get this done by knockout or submission, seriously. I think he's going to get it done by submission. Trevin Giles doesn't have the best ground game, and I think he's going to be easily taken down by Mike Malott and submitted. So the pick's going to be Malott, probably via submission. Moving on to Marc-Andre Barriault versus Dustin Stoltzfus. This is another layup, man. Like, this is another layup. Like, I know they're trying to do our Canadian boys a good little favor, but, like, yo, Dustin Stoltzfus, man. I mean, he was doing some damage on Bruno Silva last fight. But, like, wait, Bruno Silva? What am I saying? Bruno Ferreira. Sorry. I'm mixing up my Brunos. Because both Brunos fought last weekend. I think it was Bruno Ferreira. He lost, actually, by knockout, but... by submission, I mean, to Boo, but he was taking some shots by Dustin, and Marc-Andre Barriault just got knocked out. He got slept bad by Joe Pyfer. That was nasty work by Pyfer. But I think this is a layup for Barriault. I don't think Stoltzfus is at the level that Barriault's at, and I think he's just gonna be able to pick him apart on the feet. I think it's gonna go to a decision. I think it's gonna be decision Marc-Andre Barriault. For sure, unanimous decision. I don't think Stoltzfus really has anything going for him, to be honest. And yeah, that's all there really is to say. Barriault has been beat up a lot, but he always is able to beat up the cans. I'll be honest, he's always able to come back and beat up the cans, and Dustin Stoltzfus is a can, so I think he's got it easy. Moving on to Caio Machado versus Brenson Ribeiro. Caio Machado and Brenson Ribeiro are both coming off of 2 losses, man. This is like a make or break fight for both of them, honestly. I think one gets cut here if they lose, and both coming from Brazil. But Caio Machado, honestly, he's pretty good. He is pretty good, even though his build doesn't really show it. He's pretty technical. He's got good striking, good wrestling. Brenson Ribeiro, he's got pretty good power, but he has been slept, and I just think Machado is going to be able, he's more well-rounded. I think he's just going to be able to pick his shots, keep Ribeiro at distance, probably wrestle him a bit, but I don't think Ribeiro's really got too much going for him in this matchup, and I think if he loses, he'll probably get cut, but we'll see, It is light heavyweight, so there is definitely a possibility of one of them getting knocked out. And honestly, if one of them's getting knocked out, I think it's going to be Caio Machado. But we'll have to see. We'll have to wait and see. But the pick's going to be Machado, probably by decision. Honestly, probably by decision. He's going to be able to keep the range, use his well-rounded ability to punch him, take him down. What am I even saying, man? I do not care about this fight. I'll be completely honest. This is my least favorite fight. This might be one of my least favorite fights on the whole card. I really don't care about either men. But hopefully somebody gets knocked out, man. Hopefully somebody gets knocked out. This fight, though. This fight I'm pretty excited for. Because Jonathan Deniz, bro, he surprised me in the last fight against Carl Williams. I picked Carl Williams to win that fight. And I thought Carl Williams had that thing easy. But Deniz surprised me, man. He surprised me. But can he beat the Knockout King? Can he beat the Black Beast, Derek Lewis? I mean, he could, man. He could. It's a heavyweight fight. One of these guys is going to get knocked out. Guaranteed. Put my life on the line. One of these guys is going to get knocked out. And yeah, you really can't predict a fight like this. Like, it's tough. It's tough because whoever hits the first shot has the advantage, for sure. Whoever lands the first shot is going to be the one winning this fight. And we know Derek Lewis has amazing power. Jonathan Deniz also really great power. So it's going to be interesting. But honestly, I think I'm going to have to go with my guy, Derek Lewis. I think they're giving this fight to Jonathan a little bit early in his career. I don't think he's ready for the Black Beast, man. I don't think he's ready for that power. The second he feels a Derek Lewis right hook, it's going to be lights out, man. It's going to be lights out. We're going to go Derek Lewis, TKO, probably first round. Definitely first round. Black Beast, TKO win on Jonathan Deniz, and it should be fun. All right, moving on to the co-main event of UFC Edmonton. Erin Blanchfield versus Rose Namajunas. Yeah, this is fun. This is pretty fun. I know Erin Blanchfield coming off the loss to Manon Fiorot, where people said she got a little bit exposed, And Rose Namajunas coming off the win over Tracy Cortez. Pretty good win, pretty solid win. Easy decision for her. I did pick Tracy Cortez in that fight, thinking that she would be able to mix up the wrestling, but man, Rose is pretty good at keeping her striking and keeping her on the feet, and that's why I'm going to be picking her in this fight, because Blanchfield heavily relies on her wrestling, and Rose is just so good at keeping the distance, using her striking, and she's got to be one of the better strikers, one of the better women strikers in the UFC, and I think she's gonna be able to use that reach, that distance, and just and pick her apart on the feet. Honestly, pick her apart on the feet. I don't see Blanchfield getting that takedown, and if she does get that takedown, this is a 5-round fight. It's a 5-round fight. Rose is amazing in 5-round fights. She lives for 5-round fights. Honestly, she literally asks for 5-round fights only. So yeah, the pick's gonna be Rose Namajunas, probably by decision, but she could find a knockout. Honestly, we don't know if Blanchfield's really too chinny, but we gonna find out. That's for sure. We gonna find out. All right, and the final fight of the night, the main event: Brandon Moreno versus Amir Albazi. Man, thank God they put this fight on the card, because before it was Blanchfield versus Namajunas as the main event. Thank God they put this on the card. Brandon Moreno, he's always, I feel like he's always gonna be a legend in flyweight. His run to get that title was just amazing, and I think it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be really, really fun, because Amir Albazi, as questionable as that last win was, he's still here. He's moving up the rankings, and he's really, really close to that title shot. So if he wins this, he's gonna get that title shot. I don't know why they put Pantoja against the new dude. I don't even remember his name. Oh yeah, Kaya Sakura. Like, what is the UFC doing, man? This is why flyweight is screwed. This is actually why flyweight is screwed. You've got fun contenders. You got Tatsuro Taira. What am I saying? Tatsuro Taira, Amir Albazi, the guy that fought last weekend, Asu Almabayev, I think that's his name, Asu Almabayev. You got these fun fighters in flyweight, and you're bringing Kaya Sakura, and you're giving him a title shot right off the bat, man. Like, what are we doing, UFC? What are we doing? Anyways, whole different topic. Maybe whole different video, whatever. Back to this fight. We got Brandon Moreno coming off the split loss to Brandon Royval. We got Amir Albazi coming off the split win to Kara France. And this is a fun match, man. Brandon Moreno, he's got a crazy heart. He never gives up in a fight. And Amir Albazi, very, very well rounded. So it's going to be interesting to see how this goes. I think Amir Albazi does have the upper hand in this one, even though he just barely beat Kara France. I think he's going to take this one, boys. I love Brandon Moreno, but Amir Albazi is just meant to be in this spot. He's more well-rounded, good striking, good wrestling, He's got more power in his hands. And I think he's just going to be able to bring the fight to Brandon Moreno. The only thing is that we haven't really tested if Amir Albazi is ready for 5-rounders. So that's the only thing I can question. But assuming that he's able to pace himself and able to keep his cardio going, we're going to have to go Amir Albazi. I love Brandon Moreno. I love the, what's his nickname? The babyface killer? No, man, I'm messing that up for sure. Anyways, I love Brandon Moreno, but I just think his time's over. It sucks to say, man. I think his time's over. It's time for new contenders, and I think Amir Albazi's a fun one. He's got good submissions. He's got good power in his hands. Knocked out Costa easy, and I think it's going to be fun. I'm going to go Amir Albazi, most likely by decision, but potentially by submission. He's got a really great ground game, and one of the first or second Iraq fighters. I mean, there's not many Iraq fighters that are high up in the rankings. There's no Iraq fighters in the rankings, so it's really great to see that, and this is gonna be a fun fight. But that's the whole card for you, boys. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope this video wasn't too long. I ranted for a long time, but it's gonna be a fun fight card, and I'm excited to see. I'm gonna try to upload a betting picks for you guys if you guys are interested. But that'll be all, and I hope you guys have a good one. Thank you for watching.